So today I was thinking and want to talk about how keeping your business simple is one of the secrets to scaling your business and not having it be in chaos. And today's video, I want to go over that. But if we haven't met before, hi, my name's Adam Keeler. For the past 5 years, I've been working on taking my startup from zero to $1 million a year. And my hope and dream was to make a thriving business that was profitable, and it was way harder to achieve it than I thought. And it wasn't until recently when I implemented a few key things that made it possible. My hope is that through this YouTube channel, I'll be able to pass on this knowledge to you to help you if your business is just surviving to get to the point where it's thriving. All right, so the idea of keeping your business simple is kind of an interesting concept because I remember when I had a very small business and it felt like it was way too simple. I was the one who answered the phone, I did the sales appointment, I was the one that ordered the product, installed the product, and collected the invoice, and I ended up keeping most of the money, most of the profits, and I wanted to build a business that was bigger, more legit. That's when I got a uniform, I ended up getting a truck and wrapped it. I got a website. I got all these things. And so it's crazy how the way most of us entrepreneurs in the home service industry are wired is we are able to work really hard, really intensely, and we just go, 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 go. And most of the time we don't even stop to think like maybe I should get educated on how to run a business properly. It's, how hard can it be? Like I'm just, selling a product to someone and then I hire somebody to do it for me, like install for me, and then I hire somebody to sell for me. Like how hard can this be? And you're not wrong. Like that's part of the reason how we've been able to build a business. A lot of people overthink it and can't build a business. And we were able to. So there's a lot of strength in being able to do that. So utilize that. Utilize it. But the problem is we go from a startup with that mindset and we get to a point where we're starting to build our business out and then we run into some problems where it's just not flowing very well. It seems like we've got too many things going on, too many employees, too many apps, too many programs, too many whatever, and it's just kind of falling apart in some ways, and things just are super expensive. And one of the mindsets that I had that is kind of laughable now to think, but I thought that to have a bigger, legit business meant to have more complicated stuff and more stuff. And I'm not somebody that likes to get a lot more stuff, but I started to. And the truth is, you actually need a simpler business. So a good example is, I read in a book, I can't remember where it was, but it's a pretty common thought process of one of the best well-run businesses in the world is McDonald's, because they get uneducated high schoolers that don't know how to run a business, or they've never worked before sometimes. How do they get these people to be employees and to have McDonald's everywhere in the world and run pretty much the same? And it's because it's simple. The simplicity helps so many things. So I'm going to go over a few of the ways that you can make your business a little bit more simple, and ways that you maybe didn't even think that you've complicated it. Hopefully this will trigger some thoughts for you to make some changes and make your business a lot more simple. A big one that comes to mind is I was getting really fancy with landscape lighting. So landscape lighting can be a fancy thing. I've been in conventions where there's these really big landscape lighting companies. They do these ginormous jobs at these multi-million dollar homes. And so I wanted to get a little bit more fancy with my lights. So I upgraded my lights. So now they weren't, a lower quality, they were a higher quality, so that I could charge more. And then we now, instead of just doing the basic stuff I used to do, which was just simple uplights and path lights. There was nothing else, none of the complicated stuff. And I would only put one type of bulb inside those lights because I only wanted to have one type in my inventory. And if it ever burnt out, I would have just the one bulb. But then I got fancy and started getting all these extra different type of bulbs, different colors, different brightness, and I got all these different types of fixtures that shine down from the trees. You put in the concrete, you put all, like, I got so carried away that when I was putting together a training program for some new employees, it was so hard for me to, because each thing was kind of specialized. And so just as an employee standpoint, getting new people, if somebody, I needed to move on to something bigger and better in their life and I had to get a new employee, or if I wanted to hire new employees, the training process was going to take months. And then my sales guy, he had talked to a lot of these homeowners who they just wanted some uplights, and we're trying to sell them these fancy lights, and so it just got too complicated. And because of that, I missed out on a lot of potential money, and then I've made it just so much harder for my business to be able to stand on its own 2 feet. Another way that we overcomplicate things is in our marketing sometimes. So we think, oh, we're going to run these crazy ads, and then it will go to this funnel, and then it will go to this landing page, and then it will go to this person, and we'll send out this email. And yes, all of that is nice, and all of that is important at a certain point in your business. But when you're starting out, or if you're in the $500,000 to $1 million a year in revenue, you kind of need just the normal, quick and easy, go straight to a phone, and the person answers the phone, puts them on the schedule, and then you go from there. And so, but the tricky thing is, it's hard as you grow your business and try to scale it, and you hire all these employees, and then also, if like me, when you're trying to step out of your business, now you have to have people, which was once you, or maybe you and another person, now you've got a bunch of people doing the same thing that you were doing. So somebody's answering the phone call, somebody's doing the sales, somebody's doing the ordering, and somebody's doing the install, and then somebody's doing repairs. Like, you've got several people, and so if it's not set up well, that it flows simply and talks to each other along the way, then what ends up happening is you have all these holes where customers will fall through or tasks will fall through, and it just makes it really clunky. And I think a lot of businesses run into something like that, or they're scared to grow their business and get themselves out because they're afraid of having that happen. Well, I hope you get the point of having a simple business and not having a complicated or complex system. And gosh, this bird is so loud. So my invitation to you is find one thing in your business that maybe you've overcomplicated and could be a little bit more simple, and start working on that to make it a little simpler. Don't look at everything. Don't try to work on more than one thing. Just work on that one thing, and then once you're done with that, go to the next thing. So if you're interested in building a solid foundation for your business that's simple and you can have the peace of mind that it is running on its own without you, then click this video over here or click in the description below, and I walk through my journey as an entrepreneur going from a startup to $1 million business, and then I talk about the 4 pillars of that foundation that you build. Well, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.